happy Thursday. Welcome back to the show. You're watching the San Francisco 49ers Report. Chase Sr. here with you. And, of course, yesterday we found out what the 49ers 2025 schedule is going to look like for NFL schedule release day. On today's show, after we already broke down the 2025 slate a day ago, it is time to put together my 49ers record prediction, picking wins and losses for every game on the Niners 2025 slate. Let's begin with this. It's your turn. If you didn't do it yesterday, even if you did, I want to hear from you right now. Where is the faithful at? Predict the Niners 2025 record down in the comment section right now. And in that same comment, I want you to follow it with San Francisco. Now, yesterday when we got our hands on the leaked Niners schedule, well before the NFL and the Niners officially released that schedule. That's how we do things here. We did not have the preseason schedule. We do now because the Niners released that information. We do not know when these games are going to take place and what time the kickoffs for those matchups are going to be. But the preseason schedule looks as such. Broncos will come to Levi Stadium, the site of Super Bowl 60 for preseason game number 1. Then, as the Niners do every year, they play the Las Vegas Raiders. They'll go to Allegiant Stadium, the site of Super Bowl 58. I know, it still hurts. And then the Niners will welcome the Los Angeles Chargers back at home for the preseason finale. As for some of my Niners schedule takeaways, 5 primetime games for San Francisco. They have the easiest schedule in the NFL in 2025 based upon the combined winning percentage from teams last year and the Vegas forecasted wins for their opponents in 2025. There are 6 of 9 games on the road to start the 2025 campaign, but it's doable with how the schedule is formatted and how the traveling logistically is laid out for the Niners. This is also big. The Niners have a +9 rest advantage. You compare that to last year when they had one of the worst rest disadvantages in the history of the National Football League at -22 days. So the Niners have 31 more days of rest as compared to last year. Wild. They also take on no opponents who are coming off of bye weeks. And in 8 of their final 10 games, the Niners will be playing teams coming off of a road game. Now, coming up later here on the show, this is why you subscribe to the channel, because we always hit you with the best Niners content that is designed to be as informative and as insightful as possible. We will do a full deep dive taking a look at this Niners 2025 slate. And you compare it to last year, drastic differences with how this schedule is laid out. I look forward to breaking that all down. Now, without further ado, let's do my Niners 2025 record prediction. Niners will begin the season on the road, week 1 against the Seahawks. And this is one of the more storied rivalries in the National Football League, and it's one that has been very hostile and intense over time. I think the Seahawks, like they were last year, are going to finish the year with a winning record. While they won double-digit games last year, they did not make the playoffs. And while I do think that they're going to be a solid team in 2025, think about all the changes that they made this offseason. They have a new quarterback in Sam Darnold, traded Geno Smith away. They traded DK Metcalf away. Tyler Lockett, no longer on the team. And so Jackson Smith-Njigba becomes their number 1. They made a lot of changes on both sides of the ball, really. They have a new offensive coordinator. And this Niners team, I know they could end up starting 5 rookies on defense, but there are also a lot of the same faces who are on this Niners team going into this year. So I think San Francisco wins this game. It is close because Mike Macdonald coaches very well defensively against Kyle Shanahan, but give me the Niners 22-19. Week 2, Niners on the road once again, and this will be a decent travel day for San Francisco, going from Northern California all the way down to the Bayou to take on New Orleans. I expect a lot of Niner fans to be in the building at the Superdome, and I think the Saints are going to stink. Who's going to be their quarterback? We're not sure. First-year head coach in Kellen Moore. Some changes made defensively, whole new coaching staff. San Francisco runs away with this one, 34-18. Week 3 against the Cardinals. The Cardinals, I think, this year are going to be competitive, and they're going to be a feisty team. But the Niners were swept by Arizona in 2024. They get their revenge, and they take this one 26-23. Then the Niners come back home and stay at home for a second consecutive home affair against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Can Trevor Lawrence finally put it together under Liam Cohen? Liam Cohen did a great job with Will Levis in college at Kentucky. He's done wonders for Baker Mayfield in his career. He might do the same with Trevor Lawrence. Brian Thomas, one of the top young wide receivers in the NFL. That Jags defense, they have some players led by Trayvon Walker. So I think this game is close. It's competitive, but the Niners win this one 36-30. And so San Francisco's record through 4 weeks, I know they've started slow at times under Kyle Shanahan, but when they've had good seasons, they've started pretty well. 4-0 for the Niners. And there could be a learning curve with a lot of young players playing, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But on offense, I expect the veterans to carry the water for this Niners team. And I think that defense is going to be better, even though they're going to be younger, because of better coaching led by Robert Saleh. First loss for San Francisco is going to come on the road against the Rams. Short week, Thursday night football. Rams are really good. They've started the last 2 years slow. I don't think they start this year slow. And it's going to be based upon injuries, of course, but that defense really turned the corner about the midway point of last year. I think that defense is going to be really, really good, led by Jared Verse, who was phenomenal as a rookie last year. And I think that offense is going to be very sound as well. 28-25, close game. Niners lose. They drop the 4-1 on the year. Week 6, Niners go on the road against the Buccaneers. What an entertaining game that was last year. Jake Moody missed those 3 field goals. Then he hit the game winner. After that, Brock Purdy game-winning drive. This one, close as well. How about a late Jake Moody field goal to lift the Niners to victory? 29-26. Week 7, Niners host the Atlanta Falcons on Sunday Night Football. Atlanta's defense last year, one of the worst in the NFL. I like what they did in the first round. They took Jalen Walker. They took James Pierce. But those are 2 rookies. And I don't think that they're going to reverse the tide all that much in the early portion of the year. I think Michael Penix can do a lot for that offense. Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, if he can put it together, Drake London. They do have a good offense. But that defense, I think, will continue to be a problem. Last in sacks last year, last in sack percentage, one of the worst teams as far as points per game defensively too. And so the Niners drop 35 and they win by 8. Week 8, Niners hit the road to Houston. Kyle Shanahan going to go up against his former assistant in D'Amico Ryans. And that Texans defense, they are legit. They are no joke. And so I think the Niners offense struggles a little bit against that Texans defense because of the familiarity that D'Amico Ryans has with Kyle Shanahan. Niners lose by 3, 20-17. And so San Francisco's record through 8 weeks at about the halfway pole of the 2025 season is 6-2. If you want a Niners jersey looking ahead to the 2025 season, get yours today. You never want to be too late. And sometimes once the season comes around, people try to get their jerseys. They're all on back order. They don't get to you for a while. Now, during the off season, they can get to you very quickly. And there are some really good deals thanks to our friends at Fanatics with some awesome sales on the site. So go to chatsports.com/49jersey. If you want something other than a jersey, a polo, a shirt, a hoodie, a hat, whatever, you could still use that link because there are so many items, as many of you know, who have checked out the Fanatics products. As far as those jerseys, current players, former players, all different jerseys available, replica, authentic, sizes, men's, women's, kids, whatever you want, we got you covered. Chatsports.com/49jersey. Use that link so that Fanatics knows that Chase Sr., the 49ers Report, and Chat Sports sent you. Back at it here. Week 9, cross-country travel for the Niners. They have the 5th most miles traveled among 32 teams in the NFL with the schedule. Usually that's built in just because the Niners are on the West Coast. But this game, I don't think it's a difficult one for the Niners. I do think the Giants are going to be an improved team. year over year. Their defensive line, one of the top defensive lines in football. Abdul Carter, Dexter Lawrence, Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns. Russell Wilson is going to be better than Daniel Jones. Jackson Dart, I like that pick to move back into the first round to take him. I don't think he's playing at this juncture of the year. If he is, that's not good for New York. The Giants do have a very hard start to the 2025 schedule. But at this point, they might get it together. I still think the Niners win by 16, 36-20. Week 10 against the Rams. I have the Niners getting swept by Los Angeles. And this is another game where the Niners show against a formidable opponent, one of the teams that could represent the NFC in the Super Bowl, that they can stick with some of the top teams in the NFL, but they lose this one because of the offensive firepower for the Rams, 33-30. Then the Niners split with the Arizona Cardinals. They lose this game in the desert, 24-21. I just think the Cardinals are too good of a team to get swept by San Francisco. But then the Niners come back home on Monday Night Football against an upstart and improving Carolina Panthers team. And the Niners win in primetime by 6, 35-29. Looking for Bryce Young to take another leap. The leap from year 1 to year 2 was sizable. Can he do it again from year 2 to year 3? Then the Niners lose again in this stretch. So this is 3 losses in 5 games for San Francisco. Kyle Shanahan has never beaten Jim Schwartz. It is so odd. I think he's like 0-9 against Jim Schwartz, who always has Shanahan's number. Also, at this point of the year, the weather could be iffy in Cleveland, and that could impact Brock Purdy's ability to throw the ball. So the Niners lose in an ugly one, defensive slugfest, 20-18. But it's all good in the hood. Niners' record through 13 weeks is 8-5. Going into the final stretch, they are firmly entrenched in the playoff hunt. And coming off that stretch in which they lose some games, they get to collect themselves a little bit. I know the fans are going to be panicking, but they have a bye week in Week 14. They come out of it. They host the Titans. They dominate Cam Ward in Tennessee for a 31-20 victory. And that gets the confidence going again for the fan base. Then the Niners go on the road to Indianapolis, the site of the NFL Combine, and they take down a bad Colts team as Shane Steichen's going to be on the hot seat. And they drop 42 points in this game to win 42-19. Then they welcome the much-improved Bears to Levi Stadium in Santa Clara in Week 17. And San Francisco beat Chicago 32-30. And this can be a win over a playoff-ready team. And so that's 3 wins in a row for the Niners. And then San Francisco also splits with Seattle. The Niners suffer a Week 18 loss against the Seahawks, 26-23, the final score there, because at that point, this new-look, rebuilt Seattle team is starting to play better football, and the Niners lose by 3. But look, San Francisco went 6-11 in 2024. They reversed that, and they improved their win total by 5 games with a young team that's playing a lot of rookies and second-year players. They end up making the playoffs, and they have an opportunity to go on a playoff run and perhaps compete for a Super Bowl. If you can go from 6-11 to 11-6, that is a massive improvement. That is something to be proud of. I know the Niners have the easiest schedule in the NFL, but there could be a little bit of a learning curve for the Niners because they're playing all of these young players, and they've lost so many marquee guys who have been key contributors for their team over the last few years. And they've kind of rebuilt on the fly this offseason. So my final record prediction, as I noted, 11-6 for San Francisco. A 5-win improvement for the Niners. Be sure to give me a follow on X and Instagram at Chase_Senior. I put up so much content on my social media pages on top of everything that we do here on YouTube. And don't forget to drop me your Niners 2025 record predictions.